Hi, I'm Sabine Armbruster from She Momentum, and I am here today with Angela De Palma from She Simply Impacts. Angela, the first question that I want to ask you is about some mistakes that clients of yours would make. Now, we had this conversation before we hit record, right? And you mentioned that one of the biggest mistakes that your clients make is that they isolate themselves. Now, when you're a woman in business, is it not good to isolate yourself? Because that's when you can focus, that's when you can get stuff done, there's less distractions. Is that not the case?
I mean, there's a difference between solitude and isolation. So solitude is what you've just described in business, where yes, you need solitary time to get your priorities achieved and to actually do your work. Isolation, what I'm talking about with isolation is when you are disconnected from a community, when you don't have someone that you can call straight away when you get stuck or hit a problem, or basically, if you spend too much time in solitude, you can become isolated. So there's that fine line between and the thing is, you can still be around people, but it might not be the like-minded people. So you need a tribe of people that you really, truly resonate with. And if you don't have that, then you can become isolated, because people need to understand your challenges, understand who you are in a safe space, free from judgment, where you're able to be vulnerable.
So you're saying you can feel incredibly isolated in a group of people. If that's the case, how do you then find the right group of people? Because I mean, there's so many groups out there. How do you find the right group?
Yes, well, that's such a great question. And I guess some of that is a little bit about trial and error, or just what appeals to you about a piece of marketing, or what resonates with you about the main message that you're seeing, or maybe it was referred to you by someone that you know, like, and trust. I mean, I built She Simply Impacts to scale through a referral model. So, remunerating individuals for bringing in their peers and their communities. And so
what would stop me then from, going to an event and realizing they're not my people, walking away, feeling maybe deflated, or maybe like I've wasted my time or not achieved what I wanted to achieve, disheartened, and then stepping up and doing it again? Why would I do that again? How many times do I have to do that?
that's true. And I guess it comes down to how committed you are to actually make sure that you've got the right support around yourself, because business, although business can be a solo sport if you're, a solopreneur, but, life is not a solo sport. And we really do need to have, so I just wouldn't give up until I found what I was looking for.
Do you think that perhaps we need to be more open about who we are and ADHD? Because there is so many people with ADHD now, but when you go to a networking event, often you don't talk about those sort of things. Do you think that's important to talk about?
Well, I think it is important to talk about if you have, I mean, you need a group of people. If you have ADHD, you need a safe group of, people that you can really talk to, where you're not masking, because that's one of the pitfalls of having ADHD, is that, we're trained to mask who we really are, because we want to fit in. And masking is detrimental ultimately and extremely draining. And so I think that it, it is important, but you still need safety.
So it's a matter of choosing the right time and the right place.
That's right. And choosing the right, when, you feel safe to share, on a deeper level.
Angela, before we go on, tell us about She Simply Impacts.
Sure. So She Simply Impacts, it's transformational, holistic group coaching and events for women. for caring impact-driven women. And what I found is that a lot of the women who we really serve are women in business with ADHD, and most of them have some type of trauma history. So that's just really what I've discovered from, a lot of the clients that we have. So what we're offering under one roof is an affordable solution. So it's affordable personal and professional development, and it's a collaboration of different coaches and healers that can offer something holistic to the woman. And it's $47 a month. And we've got counselors, we've got business coaches such as yourself, Sabina, and myself. We've got leadership coaches, mindset coaches. We've got a clinical nutritionist. We've got, emotional freedom techniques. So we've got a number of healing sort of modalities, holistic healing. We've got NLP practitioners. Like, it's really amazing. So it's like a gym membership where you pay $47 a month and you get to attend any session that you like. So I've just jam-packed it with value. Every member gets an affiliate link so that if you wanted to help grow the membership, you can. And I've got a crazy mission, which is to unite 1 million women in the transformation of our potential into reality, the expansion of our positive impact, the equality of our voices, and in the quest to end the plight of underprivileged women and children. And the reason it's 1 million women, the target, is because when we have 1 million women, we can donate $24 million annually to charities that support underprivileged women and children, because $2 out of our membership gets donated to the charities. So,
wow, that's big. Where did this come from?
Yes, so it came from a combination of my own lived experience. So I grew up as a child and teenager of family and domestic violence and mental illness. So, and my mum was very Catholic, and in those days, you never sort of separated. She was also very resilient and incredible. And so I grew up in that type of environment where I saw injustice, I guess, and I witnessed, episodes of violence and episodes of mental illness. And then in my professional life as a coach, when I started coaching women, I realized that women had this like imposter syndrome, this lack of confidence, especially when they were launching something new or a new career or pivoting in their business. And it was just really apparent to me. So I would coach men and coach women, and I'd see this pattern in women. And I was just thinking, wow, this is just, like, I really want to do something about this, because it's just not true. So women, not every woman, but a lot of women that I coach, they would get stopped and fearful and afraid of taking action, afraid of putting themselves out there. And then when I worked for Carers Queensland as a vocational coach, and I was coaching on the front line, and I was coaching vulnerable women that were mothers of children with intellectual disabilities and Down syndrome, and caring for husbands with cancer or aging parents, I just saw how these women were they faced a lot of adversity. A lot of them were single mums because the husband had left them because they couldn't handle the circumstances. But they were also deeply caring, impact-driven women, but they were on the poverty line. And so all of those experiences put together, plus my own lived experience, and also being married and hiding behind the confidence of my ex-husband. And then when he left me, I had to start from nothing and build my identity as a separate person. So a lot of lived experience and professional experience.
Angela, you mentioned imposter syndrome. And another thing that we spoke about before we hit record was that this woman in business often forgets how brilliant she is. And I guess that's almost linked. Well, it is. It's linked with imposter syndrome, right?
Yes.
What does she need to do to overcome that? Or why? I mean, sometimes you kind of go, well, I know I'm good, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't need to put it out there because then I'm just going to look like I love myself. Like, what do you do? Where's the fine line?
Yeah, so I think the fine line is when it's stopping you. So let's say you have a goal or a dream and you know that you can do something deep down, but when you go to do it, you're stopped. Or if you see someone else that maybe does a similar thing and you get comparison, you compare yourself to other people and you think, oh, that person is better than me, or that person has better skills, or why would someone want to come to me? Why wouldn't they go to them? And then it stops you. And that's the thing with She Simply Impacts. It's about being heard, emotionally supported, and becoming unstopped in career, business, and life. So we know this stuff's going to come up. We can't stop it, but is it going to stop us? And so that's sort of the difference. It's like, do you give up on your dreams because you don't think you're good enough? Or do you, like when I used to coach the women at the Australian Institute of Professional Counsellors, they'd just done their qualifications, their diploma of counselling, but when it came to actually putting themselves out there, they were terrified because they didn't think they were good enough. And I know that they were new in their career, and of course your confidence is going to build over time, but it's when you get stopped from actually taking the baby step, because the step in front of us is the baby step. That's the one we need to take. And most of the time we know what we need to do that we're not doing. And that's sort of the fine line, if that makes sense.
If we're being stopped by that baby step, how do we actually take that baby step?
Well, in my world, how you take the baby step is that you're plugged into a community. So you're plugged into a safe space of like-minded women who, know you and believe in you. You get coaching, and that's what we're offering here, because coaching can be so expensive. I know that when I started having coaching, it was transformational, and that really impacted I always wanted to be a coach, but I never thought I was good enough. And so that stopped me from even going there. But then eventually the pull to become who I truly am just got stronger and stronger. And then I got support around myself. And one of our other business coaches, Shannon Stone, she was there right at the start of my coaching career, which was at the end of 2017. And she was the person who pushed me out of my comfort zone because I was afraid to put myself out there. And so I've been there, and I've been that person that was afraid, and I've been that person that wouldn't take the baby step. But I had the support and I had the coach. So I put these things around myself that I knew could bulletproof me from not doing it.
One of the other things that you've just mentioned, and we also talked about earlier, was accountability. How do we get accountability? Do we get that in the group? Or tell me how it happens within the group.
Yes. So the best way to get accountability within the group is if you make a commitment to at least to one coach and make a commitment to that session every fortnight. In She Simply Impacts, it's very flexible, but you've got to actually take charge and show up. So that's the first step. And then you have to share, I need accountability around this because this is one of my weak points, and I probably won't, if I don't have accountability, I may not follow through. And so it's about taking responsibility, because on some level we have to take responsibility for our goals and dreams. And so it's the same with She Simply Impacts. This is on offer, but you've got to take responsibility for it and you've got to claim it. I mean, there's women that have come to sessions, and once they realize what's on offer, they feel guilty because they can't believe how generous it is what we're offering, and they've expressed guilt.
I guess the beautiful thing about She Simply Impacts is that there are so many coaches on there, so many people on there that can help. And it's not a lot of time for any one of them to commit to a coaching session. It just seems that way from the client's point of view because there's so much to choose from, and they could literally be there all week, right?
Yes.
So that then leads me to the next question about She Simply Impacts is, how do you prioritize, whether it's mindset or business or something that's deep-seated? You know, how do we prioritize what it is that we need to do first?
Yeah, well, I think, whenever someone joins, I offer everyone an onboarding call with me. So I offer that one-on-one so that I can get to know you and I can help steer you. And so it's really about your priorities, like, I guess it depends what's going on in your life. It depends what the burning priorities are. So maybe the burning priority is that you've just broken up from a relationship, or the burning priority is that you've got some healing to do around a certain thing, or you just want to work on your limiting beliefs because you know that that's holding you back. It's whatever. I would approach it from what's holding you back right now, or what do you need to fortify such that some accountability and a skilled coach or facilitator can help you with.
So let's get back to the business side of things, or the women in business side of things. Tell me what we've talked about she isolates herself. She doesn't give herself enough credit, doesn't think she's brilliant. There's no accountability there. What are the biggest problems or the biggest challenges that they face when it comes to business?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is the prioritization, the focus, the strategy, and the accountability. It's all those things. It's like, what is my low-hanging fruit? And also, obviously, first is the goal. Like, what's my burning priority? Like, is my burning priority to make money? I mean, if we're in business for ourselves, then we're making an income. So we're not in employment. So we're here to actually make money. So are we hitting our financial goals? So it's just a matter of sort of doing a bit of an audit and working out, where are the weak links, and how, because let's say you're not making enough money, then the weak link could be, how many leads are you getting? It could be your lead generation. But if you're getting leads, but you're not converting them to sales, then it could be your sales conversations, and maybe you're weak there. But if it could be that you're making enough money, but you're overwhelmed, then you've got to look at, how you can scale things or automate or do, dump, delegate, do, delete, do, dump, forgotten the three Ds, but do you know what I mean? It's sort of like you've got to, so it just takes a bit of digging to figure out, and that's what a coach can help you with. You can just come to the session and just say, look, I'm just not sure. I just know that I'm, and the coach will ask you questions such as these questions. Are you making enough money? Are you, how's your work-life balance? How's your, which part is the missing or weak link in your business?
It's almost like doing a life cycle for business, isn't it?
It is.
Focus. We all lose focus. We're all hugely distracted by things that are going on. How do we overcome that? How do we stop being distracted and start focusing? Especially when we're talking about women that have been diagnosed with ADHD. How do we deal with that?
Yes. So the thing is, with all people have a focus problem these days because of social media, and we've just got so much media coming at us, and our smartphones, and we need our smartphone for work, so we're constantly, we've got it right there. But I think women with ADHD especially, so because of that lack of dopamine, because we're dopamine starved, and we, so that makes us prone to looking for some distraction because we're looking for that dopamine hit. And so it's really about understanding. To me, it comes back to focus blocks of time and realizing what are my priorities right now, and what are my non-negotiables of what I must achieve. And then I don't think there's any one size fits all, Sabina. I think that it's very personal how we, what time management tools or what productivity, ways we work. But for me, I know that I'm better at certain times of the day. So I'm a morning person. I know that if I've got to get my phone out of the way So I have to sort of put it away or get rid of it or turn it off or turn it upside down so I can't see any messages coming through. I need to close off all my tabs and just keep the minimal number of tabs open. And I need to sort of schedule. So I schedule a lot of my stuff. So I, like, for example, just before the call, tomorrow I have a follow-up call and I had to do some preparation for that. So I booked that preparation into my calendar and then, you know, I've done most of it today. So that, you know, it's sort of like just really understanding what it is that I must absolutely as a non-negotiable achieve and have that really as a priority when I'm planning out my day.
Do you think it's worthwhile coming into a group like She Simply Impacts and finding yourself an accountability buddy out of one of the other members so that you can just go, hey, this is what I said I was going to do today or in the next week. Can you just follow me up?
Yes.
Is that feasible, do you think?
I think that is feasible. And I think that today I went to a session today. I went to Jodie's emotional freedom techniques and there was one other member there. And that was one of the pieces of feedback she gave me, which was it would be good to have more member catch-ups sort of thing so the members can actually interact more. And so, you know, there's just so much scope to ramp up any idea in She Simply Impacts. So, you know, you can even use one of the coaches as that accountability buddy, I'm certain, or you can use the Facebook group, or you can, you know, we can connect members. And that's something that I could ask members, you know, do you especially want accountability? Do you want me to link you up with a buddy? And then I could actually, you know, get a bit more information and make sure that the people are matched. So I think that accountability is so imperative that I'm, you know, absolutely.
I totally agree with you. Accountability is so important when it comes to business and getting stuff done, because often you can't let other people down. You know, it's so hard to let other people down. So accountability, yes, incredibly important. Angela, you just mentioned that you went to an EFT session today and there was only one other person there.
Yes.
So anyone that's thinking about She Simply Impacts, is that the way it is at the moment? There's only a couple of people per session?
At the moment, yes. At the moment, the sessions are quite small, but even when the sessions aren't small, so this is the big breakthrough I had today, because I hadn't been to emotional freedom techniques for a while. In fact, Jodie took a break because she lives in Canada and she took a break for the summer, so she just came back. But today, what she invited me to do was actually the other member that was there, she was sort of getting like a session with her, what she brought to the table. But Jodie invited me to tap along as well. And so I tapped along with the other member. And I have to say that I was crying. I was feeling everything. And it was actually really transformational. And it wasn't even a tapping session specifically for me and what I brought there. Like, it is just so powerful. I mean, to me, tapping is so leveraged. It's such a leveraged strategy to actually really get to the heart of shifting blockages, shifting stuff that's getting in the way so that we can become unstoppable, which is one of our goals here at She Simply Impacts. And so, yeah, but at the moment, the sessions are small. But as I said before, I can scale, ramp up or ramp down at any time. So let's say, I mean, when we have 1 million members, there's going to be a lot of sessions. There's going to be way more than what there are now. So I can, you know, when I launched this, getting coaches wasn't the hard part. Getting coaches has never been the hard part, because there are the coaches in our platform, including Sabine, they are just amazing women. I am just humbled by our team. And the coaches are volunteers. And so it's really humbling, and we are just there for women. We just really are batting for all of us to really achieve our dreams and make the impact that we dream of making.
I've got to step in there, Ange, and say the reason why us coaches are all there is because you have this vision and we believe in the vision and we want to contribute to that vision. So it's you who is that amazing person that has created this amazing platform that we all want to be part of. So I think that, you know, that gratitude goes both ways. Yeah, it is an amazing platform. They are an amazing group of people. The possibilities there are absolutely endless, I have to say, absolutely endless. If we join She Simply Impacts, can we work with people more closely? Can we organise one-on-one strategy sessions?
Yes, definitely. So the proposition to the coaches, absolutely, if you resonate with the coach, then I encourage you to work one-on-one with that coach. I encourage you to investigate what her packages are in business and programs. You know, I mean, Sabina's running She Momentum. She's committed to helping coaches get group coaching implemented into their coaching practice, you know, and like in my coaching, this is the only group practice that or coaching that I'm involved with. But you know, in my other coaching that I do, you know, my personal branding coaching, like that's something I haven't done yet. But when I'm ready to do group for that, then who will I be going to? I'll be going to Sabina to help me get that off the ground, because there's nuances with every strategy that you implement in your business. So that's the thing that I really like. To me, this is like a triple win. It's like I really am a collaborator and I really do believe in everyone winning. And so, you know, that's why the coaches, yeah, I definitely encourage that.
And is there, before we end this interview, I have to say that I'm completely and utterly vested in this group. I love this group. I love the feeling of this group. The live get-togethers or the in-person get-togethers that we've had have been amazing. I've walked away from them feeling just, you know, like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. Absolutely incredible. I'm not going anywhere. And I know a lot of the other coaches that have been there for a long time aren't going anywhere either. You're not going anywhere. I think that, you know, you'd be crazy not to have a look at She Simply Impacts. And before we end this interview, is there anything else that you want to add? Is there anything you'd like to say to someone, a message that you'd like to give them?
Yeah, I think that the message is that, you know, it's like you don't want to believe the lies that we tell ourselves about what we're truly capable of, what our true potential is, and, you know, about that we're not able to make the dream that we have come true, or that we're not able to make the impact that we want to make. Because, you know, as soon as we believe that, we've lost hope, because it's about the journey and not the final destination. And if that dream and that impact makes you feel great in the moment, then keeping it alive is the most important thing that you can ever do.
Wow. Thank you. All right, so if anyone is listening to this video, to this recording, and you want to work with Angela, work with any of the coaches, come on board with She Simply Impacts, find out any more about She Simply Impacts, there is a link or a button somewhere around this video. Make sure you click it, make sure you check it out and try it out. Angela, thank you so much for coming along to this interview, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on one of the coaching sessions.
Thanks a lot, Sabina. Thank you so much for everything. And by the way, Sabina is an amazing coach, ladies. I have started going to her coaching sessions and she's holding me accountable. So there you go. Take care, everyone, and bye for now.